Never leave Georgia. They got the benefit of some extra games with the format we play in now, but I think they've got the second most wins in the history of our school, which is pretty incredible when you think about what the seniors been able to do. So really proud of them and the things they've been able to do and accomplish. I'll address the George Pickens situation. He was suspended for the first half for a violation of team rules, and that's all I'm going to say about that. And then, unfortunately, he got an undisciplined penalty, and when you make undisciplined decisions, regardless of what's done first, you pay a penalty for that. So he won't be able to play the first half of next week, and when you make emotional decisions, that's what happens. So we're going to help George, and we're going to help him grow up and try to make better decisions so that he can help our team. But that's unfortunate. And with DeAndre Swift, I think he's going to be fine. He's got a shoulder contusion, and we think he'll be fine. I think he should be back. So with that, I'll open it up.
Kirby, it's a tough second quarter. I know the ball getting away from you 2 or 3 times. How did you address that at halftime and come back and really play like this the second half?
Yeah, I didn't address it at halftime. I mean, the kids understand when you turn the ball over, it's hard to be successful. Defense went out sudden change and made some big stops. Didn't make a stop once, cost us one. Prather had a surprise on side that we work all the time. He had it, he just lost it and didn't possess the ball, and we turned the ball over. But our kids are resilient. They're used to going out there. They like going to play. So when you get sudden change, our defense is fired up. They want another opportunity to go out there and play, and I thought they did a good job of that.
Coach, you preach discipline and composure all the time. How surprised were you that Pickens would behave like that?
Just disappointed. I mean, that's the biggest thing is we don't want to reflect ourselves that way, and he'd be the first to tell you that he lost his composure.
Beyond Pickens, how did you feel your receivers performed given Cager's injury and the fact that they're now taking a bigger stage? How did you feel the receiving group performed today?
We did some good things, and we did some things we got to do better. We got to put them in a situation to be successful. We got to be able to run the ball, to create play action, and do more in that mentality. A lot of our scores were set up by either punt returns or the one fumble in the end zone by those guys. Just got to keep improving, and I'm proud of the way the receivers have worked. They've had a ton of reps this week, and a lot of work for a low volume of guys. Like we're dealing with less guys at receiver than we ever have, and they did a good job. I thought Tyler really stepped up. He led during the week, had a good game.
Coach, you talk about your defense on third down.
Yeah, they continue to play really well. I mean, I thought that our defensive guys play super hard. Obviously, we got an unbelievable challenge in front of us this week. It'll be a whole lot different than the team we just played. I can promise you that. But they have passion, energy, juice. They love just playing football. They love to get in those situations, and I think they were 3 of 17 or something, and our guys really enjoy that.
Charlie Warner finally his first career touchdown.
I didn't realize that was his first.
Yeah, he broke that drought. What did you think about that?
Awesome. I mean, think about how many blocks that guy's had for 1 touchdown. I mean, you think about it, and he told me before the game, he asked me, he said, what was your record against Tech? And I told him 3-1, or really 4-1 if you count a redshirt year, and he was just like, Coach, I want to go out on top so bad, and for a kid that has meant so much to our program, I mean, golly, I mean, the blocking value he has had, and not getting as many catches as maybe he deserves, and you want to get him. For him to get that play, I thought that was huge.
How do you assess Jake's performance? Obviously, maybe the completion is not quite where we wanted, but 4 touchdowns, hard to complain about.
Well, we put a lot on him. I mean, when you start talking about checks, making decisions, doing things, they did a good job. Jeff's defense has always been good at disguising things and giving you different looks, and they did some good things. And Jake made some good decisions when they got us. They trick you every now and then, and you're like, oh, they got us. He threw the ball away a couple times that really made good decisions. And he's got to continue to improve and play better, and Jake gets us in and out of a lot of situations, so that was big for us. I mean, I think he'll be the first to tell you he's not playing perfect. He's got to play better, but we got to help him around it. We got to help him with the run game, help him with some passing game to help him play the way he needs to play.
Kirby, one of those throwaways came on when they kind of jumped the screen on you guys. You guys came back to it later. 40. Yeah. Was that kind of those kind of things play together for the way you made that decision?
Yeah, I thought it was a great call by Coley. I mean, he talked about what they had done to him the last time, and then the next time they did it, it cost him. And it was a great complimentary call because the touchdown to, I guess it was George, whoever it was set up by what you're talking about, where they had done that earlier, and they paid the price for it.
Coach, one of the more subdued celebrations we've seen in this rivalry. What was it like in the locker room, and what was it like to have a governor who's a Georgia grad give away that governor's trophy?
I love Governor Kemp being in our locker room because that means only one thing, right? And we were fired up about that. But, you know, this was the next step. So this was not, for us, we expected to win this game. We expected to dominate this game. We go on to the next one.
How'd you get your team back after the second quarter? Obviously not good football for you with some of the turnover issues and things. What was the message in the locker room to get the intensity back for these
It wasn't a big message. I mean, you know, some players challenging players, and that's what it's about. When you got leaders on your team and they don't think that you're playing to your capabilities, we got guys willing to challenge guys, and as a coach, I love it because when guys challenge each other, I don't have to. And again, second quarter was, I mean, hey, a guy fumbled. That's tough. They hit an onside kick that we should have recovered. We didn't. So it wasn't like it was a meltdown. I mean, you got to deal with adversity. They made 2 plays, and we stopped them, I think, on one of those, and we didn't stop them on one. So give those guys credit. But there was no panic in this team. I mean, we understand that other teams are going to take chances, and they took chances, and they made some plays.
Kirby, what is Lawrence's injury, and how long is he out?
He's got an ankle injury, and he's had successful surgery on it yesterday, and he'll make a full recovery.
What about DeAndre's injury? Is he all right?
I just talked about it. Yeah, he's got a shoulder contusion, and we think he should be fine.
Coach, you can finally talk about the SEC championship game. LSU's obviously just been lighting it up all year long. You guys are incurring all kinds of adversity coming into this game. What's your feeling as you finally get ready to focus on the SEC championship?
Well, I'm excited. You know, you earn the opportunity to play in this game. And people will talk about a lot of games outside this, and this being a de facto play-in game and all these different things. The SEC championship is the greatest environment maybe in all of football, okay? Because you can say the Super Bowl and you can say all this, but there is no greater passion for a game than any place in the country when you talk about LSU and the University of Georgia. Doesn't matter who's playing in the SEC championship. It is, and I've coached in a lot of big games in my lifetime. The SEC championship is the greatest atmosphere, passion, energy. A lot of them have been those kind of games, and that's what you come to Georgia to play in. So we've earned the right to play in it, and we're going to go roll our helmets out there and give it the best shot we can.
If I could follow up from Cager, does he have a shot at a bowl game?
It's doubtful.
This will be your third trip to Atlanta, and when looking back on the previous 2 appearances there, what do you feel like you've learned from both of those that you want to sort of carry into this game, which, you know, brings the result that you want?
Yeah, I don't know that the other 2 have much to do with this one. I mean, they're all different. I mean, I guess we played a different opponent each time, right? And, you know, we'll prepare for these guys like we do anybody else. We'll go through our normal week, and you guys will make a bigger deal out of it, and we'll prepare the same way we always do, and we'll put the best plan we can together and go throw our team out there.
When you have popped in the LSU film, what are your initial thoughts watching that offense?
Excuse me?
When you have popped in any LSU film, what are your initial thoughts?
When would I have done that? I mean, I had Thanksgiving dinner, and I prepared for Georgia Tech. I mean, we're going to prepare for LSU today.
That said, you mentioned that offense is much different than what you faced today.
Yeah.
What do you? I mean, can you elaborate on that?
Yeah, they throw the ball really well. They've got one of the best backs, you know, that I've seen on TV. When he gets out there and breaks things open, we know the back and the receivers from last year. We played them. The quarterback is incredible. He was that way last year. People don't give this guy enough credit for the athlete he is. I mean, he's a great basketball player. I mean, he's mobile and does good things, and we know what kind of defense they've got. They got good football players. But guess what? So does everybody in the SEC. So,
Coach, going back to DeAndre, so when he went down with that injury, like, do you feel like you're kind of fortunate in the sense that it's not a bad injury going into the LSU game?
Fortunate, I wouldn't say fortunate. It's never fortunate, you know, that a guy gets dinged or gets hurt. I wouldn't wish that on anybody. But I mean, he's been dealing with that kind of all year. He's had shoulder contusions, and it's bothered him from time to time. And he's a really tough guy. I mean, he probably could have gone back in the game if he needed to. But he knew that that wasn't what we needed to do, and we need to rest him and get him ready. He's been a warrior and a leader of this team, and his spirit will need, because next week he's got a lot of energy and emotion that we need.
Kobe Dean and Nolan Smith have both already already made a big impact even as freshmen. So what have you seen from them, and what exactly what is their ceiling?
Oh, great kids, leaders, got great leadership qualities. They're on a young leadership group we work with, and they both are going to be great kids in the future. And they've made plays this year and continue to get better. And we got to use those guys because they got great skill set. And I think Dan and Schumann and Charlton and Trey have done a great job kind of bringing those freshmen along.
You mentioned that this game was just the next step, the next game, but is there ever a moment, even in the offseason, where you allow yourself to appreciate beating kind of all the main rivals in the same season, the fact that that's kind of become kind of a regular occurrence? Is there ever a moment where you allow yourself to appreciate that?
Well, you appreciate the season. I mean, we have a gala, we have an awards banquet where we recognize what we did for the season, and you recognize the senior class. I certainly can't wait to recognize those guys for everything they've accomplished. But what we wanted to accomplish is in front of us, and we've earned the right to put that in front of us. Now we have to take advantage of it, and we'll worry about the off season, in the off season.
When you mentioned about the vocal guys during the half, I mean, is that kind of a delicate balance and trust right there of how much you say to them or how much you let them kind of take care of talking to the rest of the guys?
Yeah, I don't mess with them when the leaders talk. They want to. I love it because when players challenge players, there's no price tag on that. None. And that's all I would say on that, because it's not about who, it's not about what was said, it's not about any of that. It's real. So I don't have to do it when they do it, and that's when you got your culture right.
Wondering about that late game tonight. Will you guys gather around a conference table and watch the game as a staff, or do you come back later and break all that stuff up, just watch it at home and that kind of thing?
No, we won't work. I mean, we won't do anything for their game tonight. I mean, we got to get back and take care of our injuries and get our guys fresh and ready to play and do that. I mean, we'll be watching the game, sure, but not like as a group.
What's your level of confidence in the offense going into the LSU game?
I think our offense has gotten better. I think they continue to improve. They've worked really hard. We're nowhere near where we need to be, but we got good special teams. We got a really good defense, and we got an offense that has some really good football players that maybe hasn't clicked on all cylinders. But they continue to work hard. And like I said, we've had a merry-go-round of receivers. And that's been probably the toughest part. I mean, the O-line, you take one guy out, put one guy in. There's not a lot of difference in some of the O-linemen that we've had in and out, but there has been a difference in some of the receivers we've had in and out. And I think that's the part that we've got to really hone in on.
A guy that's kind of been plugging away for you guys is Jamari Sawyer, right tackle, right guard. I mean, he came in at left tackle and he helped you guys get a little something going today. What would you feel about the way he played and what he's done to earn that opportunity?
I thought he really practiced well this week. Sam came to me and said, I thought Jamari had a really good week of practice, and we wanted to play him earlier in the game. I don't know where he went in at. You may know better than me, but I know that he earned the right to play, and the more he practices well, the more opportunities he'll get.
There's always a lot of chippiness in a rivalry game. What do you tell your team to try to combat some of that and keep them level-headed as you can, because they have a lot to lose?
Yeah, don't be stupid. I mean, don't be stupid. And it's just silly. It's selfish. It's undisciplined. It's why. You know what I mean? You ask yourself, why would I give up an opportunity for what we have next week over what? I mean, I always ask guys, was it worth it? That's what we used to say. Was it worth it? I mean, it's not worth it to me when it hurts the team. So you live, you learn, and you try to grow them up, and you love them. And look, guys, I love George Pickens. He went to the hospital with us on Friday and did an unbelievable job. Had as much charisma and as much care for those kids as anybody out there. George is a great kid. He's a freshman. And I know now, because I have my own children, that you have to love your children, and you have to help your children, and you have to discipline your children. And when you do things wrong, then you get punished.
Kirby, you reflected on LSU meeting them last year. How different are the personalities? How different is the script, or is there any carryover from last year's meeting, or just how different do you think these teams are than a year ago?
Hard to answer because I don't feel like I've done. I don't know enough about them. I know at the surface what I've seen of the teams that we overlapped with. Florida and Auburn. It seemed like we had them on tape, so you get to see them. But I can't answer that question because I don't know. I certainly. Everybody talks about how much more explosive they are and how much more they do, and they certainly are about what they've been able to put up on the scoreboard. But I don't know enough about that.
Two more questions?
You knew what you saw out of James Cook today and sort of what he was able to do in space.
Love James Cook, man. James Cook's a warrior. He works his butt off, doesn't cry, doesn't whine, doesn't talk about not getting the ball. He just plays on special teams, and then when you get him the ball, he usually does good things with it. And we got to keep trying to find ways to use James.
think Jake had a record 13 punts, school record, Kirby, so that tells how good your defense played today. That's pretty good, making punt the ball 13 times.
Good for them.